Yeah, my name is Hellen. I thank God for the conference. I thank God for the conference and that God brought Reverend Tim to teach us. So I learned very many things, and out of the things I learned, these ones touched me. I thank God for them. Reverend taught about laying on hands, and in this I learned that God's hand is on me, and that even when I lay hands on others, I represent God, and therefore laying on hands on other people should be guided. So I should listen to God as I lay hands on other people. So that was important on my side. Then number 2 was to do with what works with the reward. Reverend encouraged us to be on God's side, and then work for God so that we can get crowns, that it will please Jesus as he congratulates us as we lay our crowns before his feet. That this one encouraged me to always be before God as he changes me, as he works in me to will and to do, so that I can get crowns as I go to meet him. Then thirdly, I learned about the battle between the children of light and the evil forces. Now this one was very important, that there is, as long as we are on earth, there is a war. We war with Satan, with the children of light. So at first I used to ask myself, but why is it that every time there is evil and yet God is always with us? So I used to think that probably God's love for me is less, and then for others is maybe much. But when I realized this battle, I rested and then decided also to be for God. There is a verse which talks about us as we are soldiers for God. So I learned that instead of giving up and then lamenting, I should become a soldier for God. In fact, there was some evil that used to attack me, especially at night on bed. But when I learned this, I even remembered in this topic, Reverend told us that the devil is a prince of darkness, but he's like a lion that is put in a cage and imprisoned. So, and that the devil was Lucifer, the head of an angel, the head of angels, and disobeyed God and was thrown on earth. So, when I went home, I meditated upon Lucifer, Satan, being a creature, and God being the creator. So I went ahead to think about the power that God has, and that the devil is powerless as compared to God's power. And since I'm on the side of God, I'm already a winner. So when that thing attacked me this time, I was able to quote a verse with the whole of my heart, and that thing just disappeared. But at first I used to think that, but the devil is strong. Why is it that this thing doesn't go? But this time, when I realized that the devil is just a creature and God a creator, and the devil is already imprisoned, I now know that God is powerful and I'm a victor because God is with me. Then another thing is to do with wisdom. Reverend taught us about wisdom, the wisdom of God. And with this, I was so happy because I learned that in each and everything am to do, I must ask God for wisdom. I shouldn't depend on my own understanding. God's wisdom is far better. It can help us to do things in a better way. Then another thing is, in fact, with wisdom, I learned that all the mistakes I have ever done is because I never asked for wisdom. With this one, I didn't know completely. But now, I will always ask God for wisdom, and I thank God for this. Then another thing is that he taught us there were 6 things he said that we should know as the children of God. But among the 6, there is this one which he says that we should have reason for joy even in time of sorrow. Now this one blessed me so much, because here in Uganda, the gospel that we have is that we are not supposed to face suffering because Christ is in us. So you find that this time of suffering, when it comes, we don't stand, we always complain. But now I realize that as long as I'm for God, I must rest in Him. I must feel comforted by God, and always to seek for the Holy Spirit's comfort, so that whether in time of joy or in time of sorrow, I should always be comforted and always there for God and never complain. Then another thing was to do with prosperity. Now this one was also very good. They have always told us that if you don't have these material things, the gospel in Uganda says that therefore there is something you should seek. They said that probably you are cursed, such things. But now I learned the true prosperity, the godly prosperity, is when we have enough to serve God, is when we are in our positions, the reasons for our being created, as we stand in our positions in service for God. And as long as we are serving God, we shall always have things enough to enable us serve God. Then lastly was to do with the supporting the work of Christ, and then the Levite. That one encouraged me so much, and I continued to make a decision that I will always support the Levite. I will always support my pastors and other gospel workers. So I thank God for this, and I don't regret the coming of Reverend Tim. I thank him so much for him having decided to come to Africa. Africa is always despised by other people, but Reverend Tim decided to come. I thank God for that, because I am knowledgeable, and my prayers have improved, because now I know the right thing to pray, the right things that I should pray for. I shouldn't always ask God for these material things that are perishing, but at least I will always pray for the Levite, asking God for wisdom, asking God to reveal to me what He wants me to do, and always to look at the devil as a defeated creature. In Jesus' name, I thank God for that. God bless you, Reverend.